Hey there writers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Emma and I'm a romance writer from the UK. So I have just received my developmental edits for a book that I'm writing, and I just thought it would be interesting for anybody who is considering becoming traditionally published to know how this process works, or at least how it works for me. So I am published by Choc Lit now. They're an imprint of Joffy Books. That's where all the romance parts of Joffy Books' catalogue are now. So I was with Joffy Books, now I've been moved over to Choc Lit, which Joffy Books took over, maybe a couple of years ago now actually. Anyway, so I signed a contract a couple of months ago for 4 books which are part of a series. They're set in a fictional Cornish town called Castle Cove, and I'm currently writing the second book in that series. I'm on the first draft of that, and that's going to be a Christmas book for next year. But I have received the developmental edit for the first book in the series, which is going to be out earlier, obviously, than the Christmas one next year. And yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about the process. So when I send a manuscript off to my publishers, it has normally had 3 rounds of edits from me. I write a first draft, usually quite quickly. I often use NaNoWriMo for that. At the moment, I'm actually taking it a little bit easier. Anybody who has done anything like National Novel Writing Month in the past knows that it's really not easy, and I just thought I would spread writing this first draft over 2 months. So it's basically 1,000 words a day, which is much more manageable. So after I finish the draft, I tend to put the book aside for a while, at least a month. Usually if I've written it in November, I'll leave it for December. That works out really well for me. And then I go back to it, I look over it again, I do a second draft. It then usually goes off to my beta readers and I implement their fantastic feedback. And it is at that point that it goes off to my editor. So then it's with my editor and I receive the first lot of edits, which are developmental edits. So I'm actually working with a new editor for this book, and I was so impressed with what I got from her actually, because it is so detailed. So basically it's divided into 2 sections. So the manuscript itself, it has got little suggestions in it and lots of comments, basically on little things, like didn't you say that the hat she was wearing was red earlier in this scene and now it's blue? That kind of thing, or I'm not sure that this character would necessarily say this at this point. Could this be moved to later in the story? Stuff like that. But then I also had another document which was kind of bigger things, nothing absolutely major at all, but things especially to do with the romantic relationship, which is obviously the core of the book, as it is a romance, and just making sure that that is deepened and is as believable for readers and as engrossing for readers as it possibly can be. So my editor is absolutely amazing in that she says, you know, these things are all suggestions to hopefully improve the book, but I'm by no means obligated to do exactly what she says. And she even she suggests some extra scenes and things like that, or extra little bits that could happen which would tighten things up a bit or just explain something a little bit better. So there's kind of lots of options for me to work with. So what I kind of like to do with anything is, first of all, get some easy wins, because when you receive like a big job like this, it can feel completely overwhelming. Like there are hundreds of comments and then you've got a few sheets of other notes and it's like, oh, okay, this is a lot. So the way that I deal with it is by getting some easy wins. So I start by working through the easy stuff. I go through the manuscript once by doing all of the little suggestions and comments that have been put in that. Now, there's a secondary reason for that, and that is that I find it very hard to work on a manuscript if it's got like red marks and comments and things all over it. I just get very distracted by them and it feels messy to me. So I don't cope well with that. So the best thing that I can do is deal with everything that's on there so that it's all nice and clean, and then I can move on to the bigger stuff. So the other thing that I then did is I printed out the bigger stuff. It's actually 4 sides of A4 there, and that just means that rather than having to go back and check the document all the time, I can go through and tick or cross things out when I've covered them. I might even number the suggestions that I'm definitely going to do so that I make sure that I don't lose track, but also that they're in my mind as I'm going through the manuscript, especially if it's something that I need to keep in mind for the whole of the manuscript. Like, could this character be made funnier or something, you know, something that I just need to bear in mind as I'm going through the whole thing. So yeah, and that'll be the second going through. So my publishers usually ask for kind of 2 to 3 weeks that I take over these edits and get them back. So that should be absolutely fine. I'm not taking on any editing jobs at the moment. I also work as a developmental editor myself, but not at the moment because I've got enough on my plate. So then they'll go off, and then the next thing that I will get are the line edits, and then sometimes I also get copy edits, but often it's just proofreading as the final kind of stage of things that I need to do. And then lo and behold, you know, a couple of months later, and the book will be available out in the world looking beautiful, and you can have it on all of your bookshelves. Anyway, I really hope that this video was interesting. If this was something that you've been wondering about how it works, if you are published by a publishing company like I'm incredibly lucky that every editor that I've worked with so far at my publishers have been absolutely lovely, and their suggestions have definitely improved my book. It is so important to have as many eyes as possible going over your manuscript and giving you feedback, because there's just so much that you might not consider yourself, especially because the manuscript is so close to your heart. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, make sure that you get subscribed, because we have a lot of fun on this channel, and I will catch you in the next one.